Conor McGregor in the freaking White House calling out woke immigration policies and letting us know that Ireland is a canary in the coal mine.
They're all taking over, they're all trafficking roads.
Yeah.
America needs to hear.
Yeah.
America needs to hear.
Definitely.
Hey, Conor.
Oh. Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Conor, first of all, did you get into time with President Trump? And also, I know there's some Irish immigrants in the U.S. without status. What do you think should happen to them?
The Irish immigrants?
There's some recent Irish immigrants without status.
Wait, are we taking questions?
Taking over the podium.
Ireland and America, we are siblings. We consider America our big sibling. So it's important for Ireland to have be a peaceful, happy, prosperous country for the 40 million Irish Americans to have a place to visit, to come back to their home. So we wish for our relationship with the United States to continue, and we wish to be taken care of by the big bro. You know, the United States should look after its little bro, and that's how we feel.
How about the trade?
America.
There's some trade disputes between the U.S. and the EU, and how do you think?
We wish exemption.
Hey, we actually have some stuff that we
I
have
will
to
say,
do right now.
Connor is here to meet with the president. He'll be meeting with him later this afternoon. We couldn't think of a better guest to have with us on St. Patrick's Day. We're both wearing our green. This was not planned, but very festive. And as you know, I'll be having a briefing later at 1 o'clock, so we'll talk more about their meeting later. But he's going over to meet with some other administration officials. He's spending the day in Washington, D.C.
For sure.
So
I'm here to raise
fun.
the issues that people of Ireland face.
Yes.
You know, and it'll be music to the people of Ireland's ears, because never on the main stage has the issues the people of Ireland face been spoke. You know, our government has long since abandoned the voices of the people of Ireland, and it's high time that America is made aware of what is going on in Ireland. What is going on in Ireland is a travesty. Our government is the government of zero action with zero accountability. You know, our money is being spent on overseas issues that has nothing to do with the Irish people. The illegal immigration racket is running ravage on the country. There are rural towns in Ireland that have been overrun in one swoop, that have become a minority in one swoop. So issues need to be addressed, and the 40 million Irish Americans, as I said, need to hear this, because if not, there will be no place to come home and visit.
For anyone who's not hip and doesn't stay aware of what's going on in Ireland, what he's saying is shocking, right? It's kind of wild. It almost sounds xenophobic, right? But let's put some things together real quick. Did you guys know the most popular name for a boy in one of the largest cities in Ireland, Galway City, is Muhammad? And you might be thinking, okay, why, Ireland might be a multicultural place, right? No, Ireland is 77% white. They're actually 87% white. They just consider being white from another background versus being white Irish to be two different things. And in 2016, 92% of the population was white. Now, I don't care what color anybody is. That's not what this is about. The point that I'm trying to make is they are bringing in populations at a speed that makes assimilation very difficult. And according to the Pew Research Center, the average reproduction rate for that area is 2.9 children per woman, whereas Ireland and the United States are both sitting around between 1.8 and 1.6. Do you think that could have something to do with this headline? And when you import populations without paying attention to assimilating them to the culture that they're entering, it causes problems, as Sweden has shown us.
Once Europe threw open its arms under Angela Merkel to illegal immigrants from around the world, asylum seekers from around the world, Sweden certainly has gone on to meet its own Waterloo. And that is because of the failure to assimilate. They call it different things: failure to integrate, failure to assimilate. They throw in drugs and so on. But the real reason is, as has been known, as I've said on this show many times before, Enoch Powell was right back in the 1960s when he said, yes, immigration is fine, but unless you have assimilation to accompany it, you're going to end up with rivers of blood. And that is exactly what has happened in Sweden. And the lesson, Andrew, is that if you take a group of predominantly males, not exclusively, predominantly males, and throw them into an alien culture and do not put in the effort to encourage integration, there tend to be many who simply cannot understand this alien culture they become part of. And soon find themselves in gangs, selling drugs, crime, etc., at the mercy of drug lords, crime lords, and this is where the violence just escalates, which we're seeing now in Sweden. It's a tragedy.
This is why, when I see Trump invoke the Alien Powers Act, and I see the judiciary respond like this, federal judge halts deportations after Trump invokes the Alien Enemies Act. And then the ridiculous excuses.
It is clear the U.S. is not in a war right now. This isn't necessarily a loophole, but maybe kind of a workaround from the Trump administration.
It frustrates me to no end. The endless excuses for this cloud and piven, self-destructive domestic policy. It's clear the U.S. is not in a war right now. So what, dude? These people are violent criminals, are known gang members, and even their own country, El Salvador, wants them back.
Alleged members of Venezuela's prison gang, Tren de Aragua, arriving in El Salvador. The Salvadorian president sharing this dramatic video on X depicting TDA and MS-13 gang members hauled off into a plane, thrown into a bus, and then their heads shaved as they're now being held in an infamous terrorism confinement center.
This is how scared of these guys El Salvador is. Check this out and consider, we had these people just roaming free in our country. Half the cities they existed in wouldn't even charge them as the DA, it would just release them back into the street.
The men are loaded one by one onto special units and military buses, their heads forced down as officers keep them under strict control. Sirens blare as a convoy of armored vehicles, escorted by special forces, transport them straight to the notorious CSOT mega prison, the same facility where El Salvador's government has locked up tens of thousands of gang members in recent years. Inside the prison walls, the men have their heads shaved in assembly line fashion while guards stand over them barking orders. Cameras capture the moment they're wearing white prison uniforms before being marched, hands behind their backs, into tightly packed holding cells.
I've had coworkers for over a decade that I've worked with through various jobs from El Salvador. And do you know how excited they are that their country is finally safe again? But no, let's import all of the danger that they left, that they ran from. Let's import it here. What does that do for them? What does that do for the law-abiding El Salvadorian citizens that are now stuck in sanctuary cities, dodging the very crime that they thought they escaped?
Back in Washington, D.C., a federal judge ruled that deporting migrants without due process violated long-standing U.S. asylum protections. The White House pushing back, saying they didn't violate a court order. Quote, the order came too late, and illegals were already in international airspace. The El Salvadoran president posting, oopsie, too late. His government confirming the inmates will remain in El Salvador with no plans to return them to the U.S.
I'm just wondering if this judge is trying to lose the Democrats the midterm or what. Because from where I'm sitting, desperately trying to have a plane full of violent gang members turned around from international airspace, brought back to the U.S. so the people on the plane can just be released into the population is not quite the move, the PR move this judge thought it would be. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you on the next one.